Welcome everybody to the X Factor podcast on this lovely Monday morning here. Monday morning here. Sorry I haven't Friday and throughout the weekend I have not posted. My voice was shot, lost my voice a little bit, so I didn't think I could talk for however long I could do and be good at that moment. So we're gonna be going over the NFL free agency tracker. We're gonna be tracking everything that's going on. And I'm also going to review some of the things that happened over the weekend that I did not have a chance to review. So last time I checked, it was Thursday. Not really much happened that Thursday, but Friday came along, and the Cardinals have officially released wide receiver chosen Robbie Anderson. I just want to know when Robbie Anderson changed his first to chosen Robbie Anderson, because apparently no one chosen him to be with the team. So that was a bad joke, but he is now no longer on the Cardinals. He will be in the free agency market. So I'm gonna try to speed through some of this stuff here. Chargers have restructured Keenan Allen's and Mike Williams contracts, creating $12 or $14 million in cap space. Dolphins restructured Bradley Chubb's to make a 14 in cap space, and Panthers restructured Taylor Moton's deal in creating 11 in cap space. All I think are gonna be great for them. Let's see here. The Jets released Braxton Berrios. They also made a trade. They sent a 2024 seventh round pick to the Ravens in exchange for Chuck Clark. A lot of people probably thought that was Rodgers, but nope, that is not Aaron Rodgers just yet. We'll probably see that in the upcoming free agency coming along here. Adam Thielen has been released. Honestly, there could have been two ways you could have really thought about this. You could have said, coming out to the season, there's a chance they could release him, but there's also a chance, they could still use him for next year. And, well, let's just say that did not really go as planned. As of where Adam Thielen should go, there are many places that need a wide receiver. But his wide receiver free agency so far pretty good. Because Hopkins is up for trade, Odell's looking for a team, Thielen's looking for a team. Three are really, and then Robbie Anderson's looking for a team. But there's where he's gonna go. It's probably gonna be somewhere that need a receiving core, pretty much, or that need a receiver or a slot receiver. So, there's that for him. The NFL is taking a 5th-round pick from the Texans for finding $175,000 for league what believes the salary cap violations. Damn. Eagles have released Brett Toth, and that is going so far. And the Titans cannot release Bud Dupree until the new league year starts on March 15th due to remaining a guaranteed salary, but they plan to release him then. They will move, and they will save $9 million from the cap, going against their cap. JT Gray signed a 3-year extension. Special team guy for the Saints. And Odell, they did have some workouts for the Odell Beckham. I'll talk about that in a second. The Dolphins are converting Tyreek Hill's $10 million roster bonus to $16 million salary into $24 million bonus and to a $1 million salary, saving the team $18 against their salary cap. One thing, shocking development over the weekend. Darius Slay Eagles are allowed Darius Slay to seek a trade. I don't know why. I'm guessing probably the contract issue they're going on with him right now. But if they lose Darius, their corner depth, like he was great last year. So going into this free agency, and if he does seek a trade and does get traded, they're gonna get good for him, but it's still gonna hurt depending on how they work this whole free agency out for Philadelphia. And I don't know if I talked about this last week, but there's a thing with these really built up teams, and I said last week that Philadelphia is one of the best teams to not win a Super. Is going to go down as one of the best rosters or to never win a Super Bowl or something down that road. And if you see the last couple of years, it's been like that. teams, they get really good people. They come in, they're good for a year, and then they fall off after that. Example number one, the Bucks. 2020, they bring in Brady. They bring in a lot of these great free agent signings. They had an alright draft. They win the Super Bowl. Next year, they lose in the playoffs, and then the next year after that, they lose Bruce Arians, which I think is a huge is going to hurt big. And then they bring in Todd Bowles, and, well, look what happened. Lost to Dallas in the playoffs. The Rams, last year, they won the Super Bowl. Then they come into the next season. They sunk it. They sunk. And they lost Von Miller. They almost lost Aaron Donald. So that's pretty much what's with that. And now Philadelphia is going through that situation as well. So, and with those two teams, they're both looking into rebuilding already. Or in my eyes, they're going to be looking to rebuild. So if Philly goes down that road, I will be happy as a Cowboys fan. But as a professional, if I was part of that organization helping, I would be worried. I would be worried right now. So, New Orleans Saints have offered to Jameis Winston restructure his deal to stay. Winston has until Wednesday to accept the offer because of the start of the new league, or he will be released. So, I just think he'll be released. Just sorry, I'm going to slide through some of these here. Brandon Graham is staying in Philadelphia for a 1-year deal. So that's going to be great for them. I just don't know how he's going to do next year with his age, because, age does kick in at some point. One thing I want to talk about. So last week I did say if the Cowboys wanted to go deep in this deep in the playoffs, and they want to do good in free agency or do whatever they want to do this offseason, that Jerry Jones has been saying, it's going to be special. They just created nearly $30 million in cap space for 2023 by restructuring Dak and Zach Martin's contract. They've been restructuring Zach Martin's contract for years. For the last couple of years, they've had a restructure. And, Dak is now one of them. Like I said, if Dak wants to win the Super Bowl, restructure your contract. So, with that being said, going into this season, whatever, restructure Zeke's contract. He's going to stay, but if he's not going to stay, I'd just let him go. But I already got my opinion on that in the first episode one of the first episodes. Rams did release Leonard Floyd. We did talk about that. I think they talked about that. Dolphins have informed Tua they are going to pick up his 5th-year option, and I think that's great for Tua. Because after what happened last year, how many concussions that man had, I think this season, going into this season, and talking about the Jalen Ramsey trade, I'll get in a second here, and going into all that, I think it's great for him because he'll have Tua. He'll have everything he needs next year. Last year, you look at it as like, we're just going to try our best kind of deal. And, they brought in Tyreek, and they brought in Teron Armstead. They brought in a couple of other free agency guys, and they ended up doing really good. But the only problem is Tua and his injuries. And I hope that's not going to be a recurring thing throughout his career. But that being said, going into next season, I think Tua will probably have one of his best. If he plays all year, he'll have one of the best years of his career, and he'll be an MVP talk candidate, in my opinion, at least. So let's just hope those concussions don't start affecting him now. So Devin McCourty has announced retirement. Broncos are releasing Chase Edmonds. Steelers have released William Jackson. And all that Aaron Rodgers news going around. Big thing happening here over the weekend. The Bears are trading their number 1 overall pick to Carolina. Carolina is trading. The Bears are getting the 9th overall pick, the 61st overall pick, a 1st round for next year, a 2nd round for 2025, and DJ Moore in a massive trade. I have seen a lot of people saying the Panthers got robbed or whatever. I can see the point of that, but I can also see why people say they're not getting robbed. Bears, they were in a tough position. No, not really in a tough position, but I would say in a tough position. They got the 1st overall pick. They don't need a quarterback, and this year is really good for quarterbacks. And I don't think we seen last year how they went with defensive player 1st overall. We seen how that worked. Didn't go well for them, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, of course. So Going into it, I think the Bears are going to be great next year, depending on what else Brian Poles decides to do. Because this just the free agency just started, and they're already making trades like this. And they could easily trade that first pick next year and the ninth pick if they wanted to for more stuff. Hell, they could bring in DeAndre Hopkins with those 2 first-round picks or the second-round picks we're getting right now. They could trade those and have DJ Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney, Khalil Herbert, David Montgomery. I don't think he's staying there next year. And then Justin Fields at quarterback. One thing I think they should do though is get offensive linemen, because if you're gonna have all those great receivers, have all those great weapons, build around your quarterback like every team should, you need an offensive line. So, and Ryan Poles is really doing a great job of building around so far. Last year didn't look like they were doing much, but then coming right, and then last year, they already said, boom, that's our rebuild year. We're gonna rebuild. We're gonna try our best, but it's gonna be a rebuilding year. But with this, it's gonna be huge because they could do anything with those 4 picks that they got, and I know they're not getting rid of DJ Moore. So I just couldn't believe that happened. Chicago, they're gonna be a lot better going into next season. But we'll talk about that later. Let's see what else we got here. Chargers are reworking deals with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, creating $25 million in cap space, which I think is the right thing to do. Khalil Mack, he is, ever since 2018, I think he just fell off a cliff, and Joey Bosa, you hear from him a lot, but then you also don't hear from him. Like after the playoffs that happened last year, people were on his ass about everything. So, that's pretty much that. And the Raiders are reworking a deal, creating $7 million in cap space for Max Crosby. So, Jets have restructured Laken Tomlinson, DJ Reed, and Tyler Conklin, creating $15 million in cap space for next year. Derek Carr is officially signed. Oh, and I want to give my condolences to Hall of Fame head coach, best head coach in Minnesota Vikings history, Bud Grant, who passed away at 95 over the past weekend. So there's big news I gotta say after this. So Hall of Famer Bud Grant passed away. My condolences. Great career as a head coach, best Vikings coach of all time. So, but there is news I gotta break to you because someone did get released. So I'm gonna talk about that here in a minute here. The Bills and Matt Milano have reached an agreement on a 2-year deal, extension to 2026. Matt Milano, he's an underrated linebacker in my opinion, and and giving him that contract, I think is the right thing to do. We still don't know what's gonna happen with Von Miller. So, and another breaking news going through over the weekend. Jalen Ramsey, man. Oh. Actually, I'm going to go through here. Colts re-signed Tyquan Lewis for a 1-year deal. Giants re-signed Sterling Shepard to a 1-year deal. 49ers re-signed Tashawn Gibson for a 1-year deal. Jets re-signed Quincy Williams for a 3-year deal. Matt Milano, 2-year deal. And another big here, Commanders have re-signed Deron Payne for a 4-year, $90 million deal, and I think that's more than Aaron Donald. They just better hope that better pay off for the next couple of years, because with how the NFC East is going to be looking in these next couple of years, NFC East could potentially look like one of the best divisions in all of sports going into next season, depending on what the Eagles do, depending on what the Cowboys do. Giants and Commanders are already trying to change things. So that's that. Tyquan Lewis, it's not really much a big deal for them. Sterling Shepard, bringing him for another year. I think they should have just got rid of him. Tashawn Gibson, all right, great. Quincy Williams for another. Now it's going to get Quinn and Williams. And then big trade. The Rams have traded Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins for a 77th overall pick and Hunter Long. Why in the hell they could have gotten so much. They could have gotten so much for him, and they only get. I honestly don't know. I don't know if it's because of a contract issue, but I did think they get through a contract. They fixed the contract after the trade, but I don't understand why the Rams would give just one that. But that is some big stuff going right there. So let's get into. Actually, I'm going to keep talking about Jalen Ramsey here for a minute here. And like I said with Dolphins, with them bringing Jalen Ramsey in, that's going to be huge. And, Jalen Ramsey is a great player. And with how Mike McDaniel's been able to get this team, get this team rolling, get this team the stuff they need. They have gotten Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey all in the last year. Imagine how much hype is going to go around with the Miami Dolphins next year. And I hate Miami now because of, I hate their fans. Because for the longest time, they didn't, they were just, they were always hurt because of how the playoffs and they're missing the playoffs. The minutes they started being good this past year, and Miami fans are fucking going insane. And I'm hating some of them. So, but going into the next season, though, regardless of the fan issue, they're going to be really fucking good. They're going to be amazing good. So let's see what else they got here. Free agent Patrick Peterson wants to play on a team that gives him a chance for jewelry. So pretty much he wants to join, and which includes the Bengals. Pat Patterson's a fucking wrestler. Patrick Peterson, in his stage of his career, he just needs to go to a place where he can win a ring. He can just. And I've seen older guys do this all the time, like LaShawn McCoy. He got fucking 2 rings, and look at him now. He's a stupid analyst on ESPN. That's what a lot of older guys in the NFL do now. They get, once they realize their prime's up, and once they realize they can't go as good as they used to. Imagine there's games where he can be good, and there's games where he won't be good. And I get, he wants to be with a team that wins a Super Bowl, and he has yet to win a Super Bowl in his career. So, if you look at Super Bowl teams, you look at the Bills, you look at, you look Miami now. You, depending on how the Jets look next year with Aaron Rodgers, if they get Rodgers, the Jets, Bengals, potentially the Ravens, Chargers, Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys, Vikings, missing a couple. 49ers, all those teams were trying to get a Super Bowl, or a lot of the guys who were in the playoffs last year. Patrick Peterson's going to have an interesting free agency market here for him. And the Bengals have announced they have re-signed Michael Thomas to a 1-year deal. Cool. That's all I don't really care about. So, 8-time Pro Bowler Cam Jordan and the Saints are reworking his contract to save $10 million against the cap. Which I can understand why, because of their cap issue and also bringing Derek Carr in. So, hopefully they keep him. Hopefully they can keep him around and see what he can do with what he's got. So, and free agency is underway now. The Texans and the Raiders are pursuing Jimmy Garoppolo. That's some interesting stuff going on right there. If I was the Raiders, and with how, if I was the Raiders or Texans, I'd be going after drafting a quarterback, and I would not be going after Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think any team should go after Jimmy Garoppolo in that matter, only because of you've seen what he has done with Kyle Shanahan. Early on, he was really, really good. Scheme, fit, everything. He was all right. Later on, he started getting worse. as of for a veteran quarterback, I don't really call him a veteran because he only started a couple years, but you can somewhat call him that. And he is 31, so he could help a rookie quarterback. I just don't think they should be spending big money on him. If they give him like a 1 year, little not big contract, yeah, but I don't think any team. Otherwise than that, I don't think any team should be going after Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he should be working in freaking Walmart right now. Telling them where the freaking toilet paper is at. Because, I'm sorry, without that Kyle Shanahan scheme in San Francisco for all those years, Jimmy Garoppolo would still be backing up Tom Brady. Or he'd be freaking destroying it in New England right now. Or not really destroying it, more like freaking burning down in New England. I don't think he's a good quarterback. When he got his contract, new contract a couple years ago, I didn't think he deserved it. I think it was overpaid. He did go to a Super Bowl, but other than that one great year, they've had like last year, or not this past year, but the year before, no one expected them. Not really anyone expected them to go how far they did. And then this year with all the drama that has happened with them, so Jimmy Garoppolo, trash, in my opinion. Falcons have resigned Chris Lindstrom, which I think is major for them because after this free agency, I didn't think he was going to resign. I thought Chris Lindstrom was going to, leave, figure out what he was going to do with how the Falcons have been the last couple of years, but he did sign a 5-year, $105 million contract extension. So he is going to be all over the field next year. I can't wait to see that. For all Arthur Smith, and I keep saying Arthur Smith is great. I think he's great. Depending on what the Falcons do at quarterback position, because one of the things I've been looking for is the quarterback position. What are they going to do? And when they drafted Desmond Ridder, I'm like, okay, boom, Desmond Ridder, that's their guy. That's the man he's the man who's going to take them to a Super Bowl. He's going to be the next Matt Ryan. But he's not going to choke in Super Bowl, of course. And, well, we've seen what happened. He did not play good in any of his first couple games. As I look up here, give me a second here, stats. So far last year, he 708 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 86.4 passer rating. He played a couple games last year. He played 4 games, and the first game was against the Saints. He had a 13 for 26, 97 yards. Horrible. In my opinion, not really great. Then for the Ravens, he had a pretty alright game. 22 for 33, 218, no touchdowns because next game they win. It was a 19-26, 169-yard game. And they beat the Bucks that I think they had missing their starters. 19 for 30, 224 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I have a concern for him next year. Just based off how he did last year. Or it could have just been the team, because they didn't really have a main number one receiver going into that last year because they got rid of Calvin Ridley. So going in going into next year, that's gonna be interesting what they do there. Chargers running back Austin Eckler is requesting permission to speak with other teams about potential trade talks and has not aimed the contract extension, did not progress. This is interesting because give me a minute here. So going into next year, actually, or going with this free agency going right now, any team would love to have a guy like Austin Eckler. I mean, anybody would love to have him around. And just with his running ability. And with the Chargers, he was running, he was catching the ball in the backfield and doing all that, but with how Kellen Moore ran the offense last year with Dallas, I don't see Austin Eckler going to be a big part of what they do. Because, they did give the ball to Tony Pollard. but he was quick, fast. And I'm not saying Austin Eckler's not, but he's a lot bigger. And Kellen Moore's going to have a different sight of what they're going to do with him. So, if he does leave, like I said, there's a lot of teams, but one of the teams that catch my eye is Chicago. I know they already have running backs, but they can add DJ Moore, have Austin Eckler with Justin Fields with that running, passing, attack team. They could potentially have a team that kind of looks like Philadelphia and be really great at it. So, there is that free agent. T.J. Edwards plans to sign with the Chicago Bears. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Thank you, Lord. Sorry, I hate Eagles. Being really biased on this. Eagles have free agent. J.T. Edwards planning to sign with Chicago Bears. And that's one of the things I'm talking about with Philadelphia. What are they going to do? Who are they going to do to keep the players that they need? They're in a cap situation right now. And that's just one step of what is going to go, in my opinion, is going to go downhill for Philadelphia. And for TJ Edwards to go to Chicago, I think it'd be great. Because he's with a defensive-minded coach, which he doesn't have. He didn't have that with Philadelphia. He didn't have, in my opinion, I think their defensive coordinator that they had last year. You could say how good that defense was, but Super Bowl, look what happened. Got tore up. And he's going to a team next year that has a defensive-minded coach who ran one of the best defenses the last couple of years in Indianapolis before he went to Chicago. But just imagine what he could be able to elevate T.J. Edwards going into the next incoming years. I don't know what the contract issue, I don't know what they're going to do. But that's interesting what they're going to do there. Austin Eckler is due to $6.25 million in 2023. Cool. And Ravens have announced one of the things I was talking about when it came to Bud Grant, when I was talking about Bud Grant and something happened. The Ravens have announced they have released Calais Campbell, the 36-year-old defensive end or defensive tackle is no longer going to be with the team. Whether and how much it's going to affect him or the team, I don't know, but depending on what they do or if the cap space or contract's right, he could potentially go back there. He did say he wanted a Super Bowl. I would love to see him go to Dallas. And I know I keep saying, a lot of these guys should go to Dallas, but this one's a realistic in my eyes because we need a guy who can stuff up the middle, who is a big guy who can stuff up the middle, and Calais Campbell can do that for this team. And, when you look at how Tennessee is going to look with offensive linemen next year, Jason Kelce just said he is coming back for another season. He is playing top-notch at 34 years old, Jason Kelce is. So having Calais Campbell in Dallas, I think would be great. He would help a lot of the guys around him. And imagine what Dan Quinn could do with Calais Campbell, and so that's a really good development going on right there. Ravens. Oh, and I can see why they released him now. Ben Powers, Ravens guard, is planning to sign a 4-year deal. Oh, he's going to Denver. Oh, shit. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I thought he was going to resign. Nope. He is going to Denver. Oh, wow. Okay. So Denver just got another offensive lineman. How about that? And sources with multiple teams. Denver is giving former guard Ben Powers 4 years at $52 million. Wow. But for Ben Power, for sources with multiple teams believe that the Broncos could trade wide receivers, whether it's going to be Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, or KJ Hamler, they do not know. They are asking for high prices. I could see him getting rid of KJ Hamler, not going to lie to you. But I can also see him getting rid of Courtland Sutton and potentially getting rid of Jerry Judy. I think they tried getting rid of Jerry Judy last year. And but as of for age wise, I think they should get rid of Cortland Sutton's only 28. And why would they want to trade all those guys when those guys can help? Russell Wilson, KJ Hamler, Sutton, and Jerry Judy. They all can help Russ. Depending on, and it could just be what they're gonna do with them, or if they trade big, like trade their stuff and they get big stuff for it. The stuff that they get big, like the big stuff they're gonna get out of them. If they get like something big, I am sounding like a fucking idiot. So if they get something big with the guys that they can get, they can do something really huge. So they can turn something big to huge, like that. That's what I tried to say right there. But there is, not only they should trade him, but if they do, they should turn that small thing into a huge thing. So free agency is going wild right now so far. And he's signing a 3-year deal. TJ Edwards is. He's signing a 3-year, $12 million. Wow. Patriots are expected to re-sign Jonathan Jones to a 2-year deal. And that is pretty much all I have for today. I know I didn't sound, or I didn't, there wasn't much going on. And lately I've kind of been on, like, after Super Bowl, I kind of, like, let off football for a little bit. So I'm trying to slowly get my way back into my mind thinking here. But so there's that. Keyshawn Nixon gets re-signed for Green Bay, who was a great guy for their special teams. But that is all I have for today. I will go into tomorrow with more free agency stuff. I'll be doing all this all week for free agency. And I will be going over Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all that throughout the week. So that's all I pretty much have for today. I'll be reviewing Monday Night Raw tomorrow. So have a good day and stay safe and don't do drugs.